There are great wins in sports, and then there's what Waldner did in '97. Jan-Ove Waldner was already a legend. He had won the World Championships. He had even won Olympic gold. But in 1997, things were different. He was 31 years old. Many younger players were faster, stronger and more hungry to win. Barcelona '92 was a distant memory, and most people thought his best days were behind him. This year's World Championships was anyone's tournament. From China came the regional Olympic champion Liu Guliang and the world number one Kong Ling-hu. And the contenders from Europe weren't that bad either. Former world champion Jean-Philippe Gatien and the next big thing, Vladimir Samsonov, had both their sights set on gold. The stage was set. The best players in the world had arrived in Manchester. Thousands of fans came to watch. Millions more watched on TV. And no one expected what Waldner was about to do. In the round of 16, he was facing legend Zoran Primorac from Croatia. Tough opponent to get this early. However, Waldner was expected to win. But still, what happened looked too easy. 3-0 without any struggles. But now it was time for a much tougher challenge. In the quarterfinal, he was playing France's Jean-Philippe Gatien. But Waldner didn't seem stressed about the situation. He looked relaxed, almost bored. It seemed like he had all the time in the world, like he knew beforehand where every shot was coming. It was like he turned on the autopilot mode and let the racket win 3 sets for him. Another 3-0 victory. Everything seemed so easy and effortless. Now people started to notice that Waldner was a serious contender for the gold. But the Chinese players were still left, and they played in a league of their own. In the semifinal, he was facing China's Yan Sen, 21 years old. Lefty, traditional pen holder, great serve and strong forehand. Can it be more tricky than this? In the start of the first set, Waldner had some problems. Yan was leading 15-8, but that was all the fun he got, because now Waldner had solved it. He started by turning the first set around and won it 21-17. And after that, it wasn't fun to be the young and fearless star anymore, because Waldner turned him into a scared little kid. 21-14 and 21-12, and with that, the match. There was no talk about it. Waldner still absolutely got it. He was still at the level he was in Barcelona, but it wasn't the same player anymore. He was still fast, but his supernatural senses had developed even more. Therefore, there was no need to try to kill forehand on every point when he could read the opponent like an open book. But the biggest test of them all was still waiting in the final, Kong Ling-hu. That was the original script. However, Vladimir Samsonov had surprisingly beaten him 3-1 in the semifinal. Samsonov also seemed to have some supernatural senses. He had arguably the best blocking game of all time after Waldner. Many believed that Samsonov was the future, but this was still Waldner's moment. The final began, and something strange happened again. It just looked too easy for Waldner once again. Every shot, every movement was timed and executed to perfection. After every point, he just looked directly after the ball. No need for celebration, just full focus on the next point. He took the first set 21-12, and the second he still had full control and won it 21-17. And at 11-6 in the first set, he did this. To do that in a World Championships final, it can't get more legendary than this. And then he could finally breathe out. He was done. World champion for the second time. However, this time he was even one level better. 7 matches played, 21 sets won, and 0 lost. Winning a world championship without dropping a single set hadn't been done before, and it hasn't been done after. 1997 Manchester Waldner, best player ever.